Hello and welcome to Sage Time. Lillian here with you today as I touch upon the pulse of the collective and offer a narrative for you to personally translate and assimilate in accordance with your highest design. I trust you will accept only that which resonates with you in love and in truth at the time of receiving these messages. So let's begin. Today, as my pilot episode to the channel Sage Time, I am pulling from two tarot decks, one being Brian Froud's Fairy Oracle, and the other being the Shadowscape Tarot, one of my favorite tarot decks. The illustrations are gorgeous and the discussions in their book are poetic. You will note that as I read these, while I'll often touch upon the traditional tarot meanings, I will also go off book and allow the messages to move through me based on what I see and feel and sense between myself and what's going on in the collective. So let's begin. The first set of cards that I pulled out were from the Fairy Oracle, and the first two to come out together was the Journeyman and the Singer of Transformation. This was a pretty clear message for me. The Journeyman here, you can see this fantastic young man is walking upon the thoughts of the elders, the memories and the histories of what was and no longer are, and what was then that was not only relevant but essential. But now this young man, balancing his stick, holding instead of a satchel of his belongings, today it's holding a sphere that is the new world for him. And he's moving along with a sense of ease and peacefulness, very similar to the Fool card, balancing, not precariously, quite confidently, this sphere that contains all the potential and the possibilities for the new world, all the while walking upon the memories of the past. And the past isn't resentful that he's moving on and forward, creating a new journey. The past knows that the past is complete and it served its purpose, and both really are in reverent respect of one another. This frame of understanding and sense of inner recognition of that reverent respect and honoring and open beginner's mind movement forward is precisely what is leading into, here we've got the Singer of Transformation. And today this is coming out as very much a root chakra activation. And it's reminding me that this is only one of many that have occurred and many more that will continue. And it's interesting, the cards don't generally do this actually, but they worked a bit in reverse. Generally when we do a reading, any reader will lead up to where we're going and what is the outcome. And here today, the outcome, where we're going, came out first. And I think that that's important. I think that's because the offering is a suggestion to start now with the sense and framework within our own selves, the feeling and sensation of the beginner mind, of this journeyman, knowing that we're moving into a transformation. That way, when and if things get a little bumpy, which they often do during any, shall we say, movement through the birth canal of our next layer of self, we have that touchstone, that reminder. Okay, where did I start? I started out remembering that I am the child of wonder and delight. And even when, which leads me to the next two cards that came out underneath, when we get to a place of the Ten of Swords, and the mind starts remembering all the past and the chaos and the frustration, the disruption and the discord, and we get swept away by that, we can remember, hopefully, to simultaneously keep a foot on the transformation, on the child's wonder, the beginner's mind, and the movement of the blissful and reverent fool. And this is what's coming with that. And today here, this is the Two of Cups. I've got my finger right on the words. You can see that the Two of Cups is a blending of something that's already rooted, this tree here, in the solid stone and earth. And in comes this beautiful etheric aspect of the self. And today I consider this being another return of, I call it our soul shards. When a part of our consciousness is lost through the, we'll call it the way of living, the movement and interactions and interfacing with life. And sometimes there are real shocks and true traumas. Sometimes it's abrupt and harsh, and other times it's long and enduring and insidious. And sometimes it's all the above and more. And so when that happens over time, we eventually get to a point where we start to call that back into us. And as many of you know, we are in a very powerful transformational time where all of us are moving into an awareness more and more that we are claiming back our power, reintegrating lost parts of our soul, and refining our consciousness, developing it, evolving it, advancing ourselves as a whole being. And so when we have these four cards together, the Singer of Transformation, the Journeyman, the Ten of Swords being that mental part that was once and can stumble us up a little bit more, again, if we allow ourselves to get sucked down into it too far for too long. And then we've got the Two of Cups, the return of a soul shard, an aspect of yourself. And when there's a return of an aspect of our consciousness, a piece of our soul, there is a gift. And in the present circumstances, in the present time, the gift is I can't see, the light is getting nice and dim, the Page of Wands. And here, like many Page of Wands cards, This one is a time of a return of creativity, something special and unique to your personal signature that is a creative expression that has been maybe lost entirely, or something that you know is a part of you, but all you can really do is touch on it just barely, like a hint of remembrance. And with this return of this current soul recollection, there is a remembrance, a return of the soul into the member of ourselves, a remembering. And so you will be remembering a creative aspect of yourself that perhaps you haven't even recognized you forgot. New talent, a new modality of expression, something that is creative, because as many of you know, we are aspects of the Creator, and as aspects of the Creator, we are creative. And to live truly in that connection with our most enhanced, concentrated, and evolved embodiment of our soul is to be in co-creation with the all. And that is really the highest desire of any one person, and the consciousness of everything and everyone. And so it's a reminder here again with the Ten of Swords. It's okay that it comes in, and it's okay even if you get swept up in it a little bit. Keep a foothold on the remembrance. You are in the time of transformation, the singer of transformation. These singers also represent angels to me. And so this would be an angel of that root chakra, that return of safety, security, and connection with the Earth Mother, so that there can be a more congruent and fluid flow from the cosmic connection down through the body, out through the base of our feet into the root of the earth and back up again. And with that flow then comes our creative expression. And that creative expression is fostered and harnessed within the womb. And here we've got the singer. Is it the singer? Yeah, forgive me. The light is very dim in here. The singer of the chalice. This is a womb card, the second chakra, the place of seeds being activated, cultivated, and fostered, nourished, nurtured, cared for. We all have this energetic womb, men and women. It is a feminine container and a masculine energetic. And together it comes in unison and starts creating that creative potential. And next to the Page of Wands here, as we spoke about earlier, I'll have to do this when there's better light. Forgive the light today. And that new creative modality, ability, enhanced creative expression. Right next to that, also under the singer of the chalice, is the Knight of Cups. And here this knight is on a quest. He has a question. What fulfills me? What inspires me? What am I about? Perhaps less, what is my purpose? More, what makes me surf the tides with my soul, intact and embodied, like a dance with the giant waves of consciousness. There is incredible flow there. And you can see here in the distance, he's looking up at the, the name just totally slipped my mind. the cup. I know you know what I'm talking about. The Holy Grail. There we go. Thank you, Spirit. He's in search of the Holy Grail, and he doesn't see it. It's in a portal. It's etheric, and in truth, it doesn't exist as an object. In truth, it exists within him. And it's the color of gold. It's the spark of golden potential that lies within him. So that creative embodiment and enhancement that's coming in and being nurtured and honored is also being kept in an inspiration and a sense of there is a greater purpose for this. Not as much what it is that we seek after, but who it is that we feel ourselves becoming and interact with that inner part of ourselves as we move on that adventure and that journey, as we creatively express from the now nourished base of our first and second chakras, the connected first and the nourished second chakra. And then the last segment that came out was the obstacle of what to be aware of, be mindful of. When you feel yourself in your developing self-awareness and you catch yourself feeling triggered or tense or frustrated or lethargic and avoiding sad and depressed, anger, and desire is another one. That sense of need, want, that addictive grasping, so to speak. When you feel those different, any one of those different attention flags, you are being asked to become alert, become aware of it, and be still and hold into it. And this is being exemplified with the gatekeeper, the guardian of the gate. And this card, that old gnome. And that old gnome came out in reverse to me, or today, which to me is an excellent indicator that you've got this. You're going to remember that old gnome, look at this guy. He's kind of like, I did it again. Doggone it. I wasn't paying attention. I was going too fast. I was doing all the doings and wasn't remembering to be still. I let the anxiousness get me all bound up and toiled up and all in a knot, and I lashed out, or I hid in the closet, or I turned on the television instead of meditating, or I called up all my friends and posted on social media about all my issues instead of simply being still, getting quiet, and going within. And that's what we're being told you are going to make great strides in. Because that old gnome, he's getting it bit by bit, chip by chip, little by little. And the more he gets it, the more each little star piece of us is able to move through this gate. The guardian you see of the gate to our next, more enhanced, embodied, greater selves. The guardian is simply just these little parts of us that haven't been gathered in and gathered up so we can flow through nice and smoothly. And then as I asked the cards, could you give me a little bit more about specifics with the guardian of the gate, and that'll know. Tell me about some of the things that we're specifically going to want to clue into, that we're going to be facing. And perfectly came out the Tower and the Seven of Swords. Now, once again, such a blessing. The Seven of Swords was in reverse. And here you can see these two badgers, fire and water, we'll say. Perhaps fire and air. Fire and air today, for sure. The Seven of Wands, they're at each other. And the fire, these orange badgers, there's several of them. And they're really all coming at the one. Right? That's what we often hear with Seven of Swords. Kind of a flying monkeys all targeting in on one person, shall we say. And nobody wins when that happens, because the one gets defensive, because, right, or naturally so, the fear mechanisms kick in, and then the battle ensues, and on it goes, in the swirling, whirling dervish of anger, resentment, betrayal, denial of things that are said and done that are inappropriate and only fueling the fire. As you can see, the one badger, the air, is fueling the several of the red, the fire. And they're just swirling around in a chaotic hodgepodge of just, well, you know the word. And that's in reverse. Because the Tower is coming in, and the Tower is a beautiful thing. It's burning away what no longer is needed, and providing nourishment and nurture, or nourishment in particular, where things had just been piling up. Even if it's beautiful, even if the structure of our life and our world and our surroundings is beautiful and we love it, often it's way more than we need. So much more than we need that we don't recognize. With less, our world is so much better, because the focus then is turned inward more and more. And the more that the focus is turned inward, the consciousness is made aware within the body and the inner universe, the more enriched we become and our lives around us become. And so all the rest of this beautiful structure and elaborate construction becomes superfluous. And so in comes the lightning and says, ah, yes, let's take this down a notch, or 7. 7 of Wands in reverse. And last but not least, I asked for, since that was the be mindful of this and be wary of this, I asked for a culmination return to what would be the benefit of the whole situation to the entire collective. And out came the Wheel and the Two of Pentacles. And the Wheel here, of course, is being turned. And you can see there's little fey helpers turning the wheel. But this time, instead of the bottom of the wheel going to the top and reaching the sunlight and the apex, and the top of the wheel going to the bottom and going through the muck and the mire, there's more of a balance here. You can see that the sunlight is on the top, and it also spreads down around towards the bottom, and that the flowers, the petals, are holding it up. And on the upward movement here of the dark side of the Wheel of Fortune, there is still an orb of light around it. still a reminder that light is present, that our helpers, our guardian angels, our guides, our supportive team are with us even when we can't see them. And here we've got the moon hidden up in the far corner. And at the center of all of our lives, together and individual, is an intricate, beautiful, ever expanding and contracting, ever more detailing flower of life, a seed opening up, expanding outward, and developing more. And so keep your foot on that touchstone of remembering that this is all part of the ongoing cycling. And with every death, there is a rebirth. And so if you can, remain in that contentment, that full beginner's mind, one foot on the old and the next stepping out into the unknown. It's all right. He might fall, he says. I might even drop the ball. But I'm going to sway with some swagger and some joy and contentment, knowing I'll get there. I'll get there when the time is right. And then to touch on the Two of Pentacles that came out. It is a balancing act. And with every balancing act, there is stability. Here placed on this pedestal, again, at the heart of the pedestal is this little gecko lizard man. The ancient, foundational thought forms. And then up here in the sway and the imbalance is this whimsical monkey in a heartfelt engagement with a butterfly. Balancing the this or the that, the two pentacles, and making it something beautiful and enjoyable as best you can, because it's what is. So that is the current energies for today, for this time and in the coming time. And then to complete the message for today, I pulled a card from the Beyond Lemuria deck. And I actually meant to pull it at the end of the reading. And my hands and my body just started moving the cards, and this one flew out clear as could be. I thought to put it back and reshuffle and go again, but the card really wanted to be here. And this card, I love her artistry. This card is the Transformation card, right? Very similar to the Singer of Transfiguration in its nomenclature, or semantics, I guess I should say. And this card, I see this woman, this feminine being here in the center. She does have a very strong look of concern. Her hands are to her heart. She's seated on the ground as if the whirling information moving around her has rendered her a little bit weak. But what she's starting to see off in the distance is that all this chaos, all the information that's overwhelming, has so much beauty. And that's beginning to calm her. I don't know if you can even see that shifting, probably not in the cards. But her look of overwhelm and worry is now turning into one of observant wonder, without emotion, simply observing. And the more she observes, the more she recognizes that this chaos, indeed it is chaos, it's beautiful though. And it's surrounding her not to harm her or hurt her, even if it's uncomfortable and disarming. It's here to enhance her and beautify her life, her world, her experience, and her perspective moving forward. That is the transformation. So there you have it, everybody. Thank you so much for being present with me today on my very first stepping out of the box, heart open, mind-centered, Sage Time channel. This is only the beginning. There will be more that I'll be bringing into this channel in addition to tarot. And I think for today, this is the perfect starting point, is I myself am the journeyman stepping off into the unknown. Thank you so much for your presence, your heart, and your loving kindness. Blessed be.